Last June, at the first hearing on the data breach of the Office of Personnel Management, I told agencies that we would be watching to make sure they are taking their cyber security obligations seriously. We discussed how CIOs, CISOs, and agency heads need to take a hard look at their IG audits and GAO reports and make sure they address the findings to make sure their cyber posture is meeting FISMA standards. The same is true when addressing the federal IT acquisition reforms. That is why this committee, in a bipartisan fashion, developed a scorecard to grade agencies on their implementations of FITARA. This committee will continue to hold agency heads responsible for the state of their agency's information technology and cybersecurity posture, but much of this work starts in the office of the CIO. We are here today to continue that work, and at nearly no other department is it of such importance to get right. As the second largest federal agency whose mission it is to care for our nation's veterans, we cannot afford and should not allow IT lapses to occur. While we're focusing on the technical details today, I hope each of us will also take time to recognize that there are real-world consequences and impacts of these decisions, and that they fall upon those who have already given so much for the country. We cannot forget that. Ms. Counsel, I'm pleased to have you here today. I know this is your 6th hearing, I think, in the last 10 days, so I think it's because you're so charming and you know what you're doing, so it's great to have you here. And truthfully, I'm very encouraged. I'm encouraged that you have a strategy in place to eliminate material weaknesses that in some cases go back 17 years. The VA exceeded the OMB's target on the 30-day cybersecurity sprint and expanded strong authentication practices to 100% of its privileged users and 80% of its unprivileged users. This was demonstrated progress in the area of cybersecurity and a positive indicator that the VA is making progress in this area. But concerns remain. The goal you and your Chief Information Security Officer have set to eliminate the material weaknesses is by the end of 2017. 2 years to solve, in some cases, fairly basic cybersecurity best practices. Talking about predictive scanning for vulnerabilities, implementing risk assessment, and monitoring tools and security training. 2 years is too long, and I think we can do better. The VA received an overall grade on the committee's FITARA scorecard of a C. The agency received Fs in savings relating to data center consolidation and IT portfolio review. And again, I must highlight that this is self-reported data. We will talk about that and the VA's plan to implement FITARA further. The modernization of the VA's legacy technology is a real concern that is affecting millions of veterans. Ms. Counsel, a few weeks ago, you testified before the House Appropriations Committee that you, quote, want to take a step back from the existing modernization plan of VISTA. You cited changes in circumstances and issues such as women's health, the Internet of Things, and care in the community as instigating factors in taking a pause on the VISTA evolution plan developed in 2014. While I certainly appreciate big thinking, especially in government IT, I have to ask whether or not this is another example of the VA taking a U-turn on substantial IT investment. We've been down this road before with the effort to make the electronic health records of the DoD and the VA interoperable. Is VISTA going to end up in a multi-year investment that never delivers the functionality that the VA's healthcare providers need? The meaningful exchange of healthcare data has been delayed for far too long. And while the DoD and the VA seem to have made progress recently with the Joint Legacy Viewer, I want to reiterate once again that the JLV is not true interoperability. The missed deadlines, cost overruns, and failures to deliver on expectations leave me with serious doubts about whether these two departments are able to work together towards effective real-time sharing of veterans' health data. Turning to the issue of patient scheduling, what will a pause of VISTA evolution mean for the medical appointment scheduling system? Here again is a problem that needs an IT solution that has suffered repeated step-backs, and this is not a new problem. The scheduling component of VISTA dates back to 1984. With veterans coming home from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, this is a system that needs to be upgraded immediately. 50,000 schedulers made 80 million appointments in fiscal year 2011 alone, 80 million. The VA has recently put in place a 5-year contract to develop a new medical appointment scheduling system at the cost of $624 million. I have to ask the question, could this have been done cheaper with commercial off-the-shelf technology? Will the latest attempt work? Will this contract fix the scheduling problems at the VA? I've said it time and again, The problems the agencies face in IT and cybersecurity are not in the availability or accessibility of technology. The tools already exist. The challenge the federal agencies face, and we have seen it at OPM and the Department of Education, is having the leaders in place, leaders who have a vision and a commitment to staying at their agency to see that vision through. And Ms. Counsel, I'm excited because I think you are the right person for the job. I thank the panel for attending today's hearing, and I look forward to today's discussion. Now it is my pleasure and an honor to recognize the gentle lady from Illinois, my friend and ranking member of the subcommittee, Ms. Kelly, for her opening remarks.
Thank you, Mr.